Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Miss Destiny. I'm so happy to see you guys on the last day of Kids Wellness Week. Again, what do we say? Everybody make some noise. Woo! I've been having so much fun with you guys this week. So much fun. And I thank everybody for tuning in. From DC audience to West Coast to Midwest, we really appreciate you guys. We have one last story time for you guys. Now, before we get into the story time, I wanted to recap, which is go over again all the different things that we learned this week. Does anybody remember some of the books that we read? All right, if you don't, I will let you know now. So, on Monday, we learned about Gary. And Gary was a little guy from Washington, D.C., and he learned about the invention of the laundry machine. Super duper cool. And what it taught us was that every great invention starts with one idea. On Tuesday, we learned all about affirmations with one of my favorite books, Hey Black Child. And for those of you all who don't know what affirmations are, they are different words or phrases that you can say to yourself in order to make you feel strong, happy, and confident. I shared a few of my affirmations with you guys, and I want to remind you guys what they are. So when I wake up in the morning, I say, I am smart, I am creative. I am smart, I am creative. Nothing can stop me, and I'm going to change the world. Once again, I am smart, I am creative, nothing can stop me, and I'm going to change the world. You can use your affirmations when you're feeling on top of the world and really great to make you feel good and strong. And you can use your affirmations in order to make you feel better when you aren't feeling so good. On Wednesday, we learned all about Zuri and her dad. And that story was all about loving your hair. The name of the book was Hair Love. And it taught us that even sometimes when you're having a bad hair day, you should still, test out different ideas with your hair and love it because it's what makes you who you are. Yesterday, which was Thursday, we learned all about Gabe. And does anybody remember what happened with Gabe? That's right. He's a gardener. And what he did is he put his thumb in the dirt and it grew so big and he had a big green thumb. And what a green thumb is, it means that you are really good with gardening and you can make your plants grow. So Gabe was a vegetable farmer. And what he did was he made all of his vegetables grow to big, gigantic sizes. And a lot of his friends teased him about it. But at the end of the story, they were all celebrating him for his very magical talent. It's been so much fun reading with you guys. And we have, like I said, one last special treat. We're going to have Mr. Kenji come on with us today. Mr. Kenji, wave hey to everybody. All right. And he's going to a very special book with you all about facing your fears. So I'm going to leave it to Mr. Kenji, and I hope you guys enjoy the story.
All right, guys, good afternoon. It sounds to me like you guys got exposed to some amazing books this week, and we know that reading is important, especially when you get to connect and relate to the characters and the topic. So I'm excited that you guys got that exposure, and I'm happy today to be with you guys and get a chance to read to you one of my 3 books, but I'll show you the other 2. My first book, Father to Son. All right, and it has 5 stories in it that talk about love your mother, education, respect, teamwork, and the importance of men, police officers, teachers, firefighters, and coaches. Not just athletic coaches, but anyone who coaches you in any type of extracurricular activity, whether it be swimming or dance, anything like that. So we talk about those people in our community because they're very important. The book I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is called Father to Son 2, Caden Faces His Fears. And this book just talks about different fears that most of us as kids may have experienced at one point. There's 5 stories in here. I'm going to read three of them to you. One of the stories that I'm going to read to you, I know every single person that's on here that's listening has experienced this. You may not have experienced all of the fears, but I do know that one in particular you've definitely experienced because everybody has experienced this, no matter who you are at some point. And so we're just going to talk about how you can face those fears and overcome them, all right? So the very first story I'm going to read to you is called Caden Goes to a New School. So for those of you that don't know, Caden is actually my son. And if you look on the cover, you can see that the illustrations are actually of myself in the red shirt and of my son in the blue shirt, who's actually 8 years old. Okay? So Caden goes to a new school. And I want you, as you're listening, to think about if you've ever been in a situation where your parents got a new job or something happened and you had to move. And because of that, you had to go to a brand new school after you've already made tons of friends at your other school and you like your teachers. And now all of a sudden you've got to go somewhere new where you don't know anybody and start all over. And I know that that can be extremely scary. So let's see what happens with Caden. After only 1 year at his school, Caden is in for a big change. His family is moving to an area out of his school's range. Caden likes his teachers, the principal, and has made lots of friends. Now that he is moving, Caden will have to start all over again. So here you see Caden saying goodbye to his principal and his classmates for the last day because he's getting ready to transfer to a new school. Caden is sad and angry, not sure what he should think or do. His dad understands because he is nervous about moving too. The truck is packed and ready to go. Today is the day. Caden and his family get in the truck and head to a town far away. During the drive, Caden is looking out the window and hasn't said a word. Dad says, "Son, your new teacher and classmates are nice. That's what I've heard." "How am I going to make new friends?" Caden asks, his face draped with a frown. Dad exclaims, "I'm sure there are plenty of cool kids at school and around town." So as you can see so far, Caden is not happy and not looking forward to this new change. He's definitely a little afraid. The day has finally arrived. The first day of school is here. Caden's dad takes him to his class, easing his worries so he can face his fear. So you can see in the story, I, as Caden's dad, am going with him on the first day of school so that he can feel a little bit better about his first day. The teacher, Mrs. Wilson, introduces him and the students shout, "Welcome to our class." Caden says hello to everyone, but he is nervous and just wants the day to pass. Dad hugs Caden, wishes him good luck as he takes his seat to begin his day. Mrs. Wilson checks on him from time to time to make sure he's okay. And guys, I want to share with you that Mrs. Wilson, who's illustrated right here, she's really a real person. This is a friend of mine that I went to college with, and she's a teacher. She was actually the first person to invite me to her class when I became an author, when I wrote my first book, to read my first book to her students. And as a result, I put her in my second book. So that's one of the cool things about being an author with creative control, is that I can pretty much do what I want when it comes to the illustrations. And so as a result, the people that are in these books are real people. They're family members. They're people that I know, people that I went to school with. Let's see what happens as we come to our conclusion. When lunch comes, Caden sits by himself, listening to music because the cafeteria is very loud. Then some of his classmates join him at his table to make him feel like part of the crowd. Caden's first day is finally over, and he feels much better about his new school. He can't wait to tell his parents that his teacher is awesome and his classmates are cool. Dad knows every day will not be perfect, but having a great first day is a start. Caden is excited about his classmates and learning too, so he can be smart. So if you guys were following along, which I'm sure you were, I think it's safe to say what made Caden feel better about his first day at school was that moment in the cafeteria where the students, his classmates, came over to him while he was sitting by himself. Instead of letting him sit there by himself, they came and sat with him and started talking to him and introduced themselves to him. And I think that made him feel comfortable and made him feel like it was going to be okay to be at this new school. So in this situation, Caden definitely faced his fear of transferring to a new school. So the next story I'm going to read to you guys is called Caden Goes Swimming. Now, obviously in the book, I'm using Caden because he's my son as the main character in the book. But for you guys, just imagine that it's you as the main character. So it could be Stacy goes swimming, or Kevin goes swimming, or Jabari goes swimming. Whoever you are, just take Caden's name out, put your name there, and imagine that it's you that's trying to face your fears of going swimming for the first time. The summer is almost over and a day of family fun is finally here. Uncle Dwight is having a big pool party, which he hosts every year. Caden loves to dance and play and thinks the fireworks are cool. However, he is definitely not looking forward to getting in the pool. Last year, Caden dipped his feet in but was too afraid to get in and join the fun. This time, Caden wants to try to swim even though it is something he has never done. While walking to the party, Caden tells his dad that he didn't have much fun last year. Dad says, "I will not let anything happen to you, son, so you have nothing to fear." They finally arrive and Caden sees his cousins, Kason and Kai, in the yard running around. Cousins Ariel and Matthew are also here. They came from out of town. So here you see Caden meeting his cousins over here on the side of the pool. After a game of tag and dancing, the kids get into the pool to swim and play. Ariel asks Caden, "Are you getting in the pool to have some fun with us today?" Caden replies nervously, "I don't know how to swim, but I'm going to try. Dad says stay away from the deep end and put this life jacket on and you will be fine." With his dad by his side, Caden enters the pool and the other kids begin cheering him on. The water is cold, but Caden is determined to have fun and make sure his fear is gone. Caden is wearing a life jacket, which helps him stay safely above water and swim. Dad is excited and anxious to show Caden how to swim the way his dad taught him. Caden nervously lies across Dad's arms, and Dad shouts, "Caden, kick your feet." With a little bit of help from his dad, Caden is swimming and exclaims, "This is neat." You see right here, Dad is holding Caden just so that he can be comfortable with being in the water. And now at this point, you see he's doing his own thing. He's overcome his fear. He's excited and he feels safe. The rest of the day, Caden and his cousins play in the pool and eat lots of great food. There are no more worries for Caden. He is in a fantastic mood. Dad is proud of his son, and Caden cannot wait until the pool party next year. Caden even wants to take swimming lessons so he can be a great swimmer without any fear. So now at this point, Caden is excited. He's looking forward to the pool party next year. And in between now and next year, he wants to take swim lessons. Now, I talked to you earlier about the fact that out of these 5 stories, I knew that there was one story in here that no matter who you are, you have had this experience before. You have had this fear before. I can guarantee it. Okay, so I want you to think about it. Raise your hands if you have ever had a bad dream. I knew it. I knew you had a bad dream before, because everybody has. I've had bad dreams before. Ms. Smith has had bad dreams before. I know Miss Destiny has had bad dreams before, and they can be really, really scary. So let's see what happens when Caden has a bad dream. Caden has a bad dream. It is 1 o'clock in the morning, and Caden is tossing and turning in his sleep. He is having a really bad dream and suddenly wakes up and begins to weep. What does it mean to weep? That's right. To weep means to cry, okay? It's quiet, but Caden thinks there's a hungry monster in his closet looking to be fed. He quickly runs down the hallway into his big sister's room and jumps on her bed. Alexia, get up, Caden frantically whispers as he pushes and shoves her. Alexia awakens confused and says, "Get out of my room and go to sleep, little brother." Caden says, "There is a hungry monster in my closet. Can I sleep by you?" Looking surprised, Alexia says, "A monster in your closet? That isn't true." Alexia gets out of bed, taking Caden by the hand, and they go down the hall. She walks with Caden into his room to help him face his fears once and for all. You see Caden and his sister Alexia walking down the hallway into his room. As Alexia walks boldly towards the closet, Caden nervously follows behind. Alexia opens the closet door and says, "See, Caden, no monsters of any kind. You must have dreamt about them and woke up thinking they were real." Alexia continues, "I used to have bad dreams too, so I know exactly how you feel." After thanking his sister for her help, Caden gives her a hug and squeezes her tight. Caden knows his room is safe and gets in the bed and turns off the lights. The next morning on the way to school, Caden tells his dad all about last night. Caden says, "I had a bad dream and was scared, but Alexia made everything all right." Caden feels better about sleeping in his room and knows monsters are not real. Caden now goes to sleep with no fears, and Dad thinks that is a pretty big deal. So I have read 3 stories to you. We read Caden goes to a new school. So Caden was able to overcome the fear of transferring to a new school and making new friends. And then we talked about Caden going swimming for the first time. And then lastly, we talked about Caden have a bad dream, which we all agree we all have experienced. So at this time, I'm done. And I definitely would like to open up to any questions that Miss Destiny or any of the students may have.
Hi, thank you so much for reading the book. It was amazing, and it was super relatable because we all have fears, right? I have fears, just like you said. You have fears, bad dreams, new school, a lot of new things that we're experiencing together. So I just had a few questions for you of certain things that you should tell or for asking you for you to tell the kids. So what would you tell somebody who's like, "Mr. Kenji, I want to try something new, but I'm super afraid"? How would you help them to conquer those fears that they have?
That's an excellent question. So the first thing I would say is, number one, you should never try to face something for the first time by yourself. So I would take a buddy with me if you have a best friend. And if that best friend is someone who's not afraid of what you're afraid of, that would be a great person to choose. I wouldn't want to choose someone that's afraid of the same thing that I'm afraid of, because then we're both afraid, right? Although it would be kind of cool to like face a fear for the first time together, or a family member, maybe a mom, a dad, or an older brother or sister, someone that you're comfortable with to help you face that fear. And then the last thing I would say is you should do some research. about what that thing is. So let's say you want to you want to get on a certain ride at Great Adventure or King's Dominion, and you're just afraid of it. I would do some research about it.
What's research, Mr. Kenji?
Huh?
What's research, Mr. Kenji?
Research. So that's when you look up information. You try to get information about something. So you could go onto the computer if you have one, or onto your phone, or to the library, and find out things about that ride. How fast does it go? How tall is it? And what's the age limit? So let's say you're 6 years old, and they say that 4-year-olds could get on it, then that should kind of let you know that it's okay for you to get on there and that you shouldn't be afraid. And then you have your friend or your relative with you, and you guys tackle that fear together.
Thank you so much. Another thing that was in all of the books is that Caden really depended on you a lot as his father to help him face the fears. So are these like stories that are real that Caden actually experienced when he was younger?
Excellent question. A lot of people ask me that. So Caden is actually in swimming lessons now. And initially, he was extremely afraid. He loves the water, but just the idea of being in such a big body of water was kind of scary to him. Even now at 8 years old, and he's been in swim lessons for 2 years, he's still really scared to get his hair wet or his face wet. He's actually somehow learned how to swim with his head back up above the water. He does not like his face in the water. And so that's a fear that we're still working with him on now.
Mm-hmm.
We practice in the shower by trying to pour the shower in the water over his head. He doesn't really like it, but he's getting more comfortable with it. So the swimming, yes, he's been on an airplane before, and the first plane ride to where we were going, he was really scared, but on a plane coming back, he was fine. So he faced that fear. So yes, many of these stories are personal experiences that Caden has had, but that I know that most children have experienced as well.
Okay. There's another thing that I've really been thinking about when we were reading the books. It's a very different time now. A lot of kids have been out of school for a very long time, doing school from home, and at a certain point, kids are going to be going back. So we did have one question from the audience that says, when I go back to school, everybody says it'll look different, and I may not be able to play with my friends the same way. So, and I'm pretty scared about it. And what do you think I should do?
Well, I understand what it means to, be afraid when you're getting ready to go into something that you haven't experienced before, or that's new to you. You know that we all have been pretty much home because of this pandemic that we're experiencing for the first time in our lives. I mean, even for me, I'm on the computer with you guys, and I love working with students. If I had my choice, I'd be in a classroom in front of you guys where I could physically see you and work with you, but that's just not the way it is right now. And so we have to be strong and adjust to the new rules. And if you do the things that you're supposed to do to stay safe, you should be okay. So what does that look like? That looks like keeping 6 feet away from the people around you, social distancing. It looks like wearing your mask at all times when you're around somebody. It looks like keeping your hands out of your face, particularly your mouth, your nose, and your eyes, washing your hands, keeping your hands clean. And the cool thing about kids is that kids are very, very creative, right? You think about all the games that you guys have come up with over the years, hide and go seek, tag, all of those things, right? So I'm pretty sure that when you guys go back to school, you will figure out new ways to have fun with your friends. And I think that's the exciting part, is because it's like it's a new experience. But I definitely understand being afraid. But here's the thing. You're not going to school by yourself. So you get to go through that fear with your classmates.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kenji. Can you tell us again where we can get your book, or adults can get your book?
Yes. So I have a website that talks about the different things that I do, the different business that I do with schools. Also, being a certified personal trainer, I also do fitness workouts for kids. If you click on the shop button on that website, all of my books will come up, and you can place your order there. And I'm actually going to put it in the chat, and I'm also going to say it. So the website is www.books, BKS, B as in boy, K as in king, S as in Sam, wholeness, WHOLENESS.com. And I'm going to type it in the chat very quickly.
So if you guys really liked Mr. Kenji's books, ask your parents to purchase them for you. He's going to give you guys the website address. And like I said, you can ask your parents and continue to read all the stories about Caden and all the stories about all the other characters that Mr. Kenji has.
And, it would be really, really cool. And this would be really exciting for me. It would be really cool if once things get back to normal or close to normal, where we're physically back in school again and we can have visitors. And I would love to come to the school and get to meet all of the students that logged on today and took part in this experience. And maybe we could do some type of a writing workshop. I could answer some more questions and maybe read another book.
Awesome. We'll definitely keep you with us. Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kenji. And for everyone else, it's been such a pleasure to have you guys with us this week. Such a pleasure. We've been learning all about loving ourselves and identifying what makes us unique, what makes us us, and what makes us very, very special. So, again, we have one more Let's Get Moving activity for you guys in about 1 hour. At 1:15, and we're going to be, it's actually not moving. We're doing a creative workshop, with Mr. Isaiah. And what we're going to be doing is talking about how different symbols or different works of art can describe who you are. So going back again, we're going to be with Mr. Isaiah in 1 hour. What you guys will need is you guys will need some paper, a place to draw. You'll need a bunch of colors, color pencils, markers, pencils. So we can draw and get creative. So we'll see you guys in about 1 hour. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. It's been such a pleasure reading with you guys and teaching you guys all about everything that we've learned. So until next time,